Hey guys, what's going on? It's Spot the Aussie here with the F1 Mod Challenge, round number 2 of our second season with the Race Engineering team. After a very competitive second position, we had a very good car, was mechanically reliable, at least for Alexander Rossi. We've stacked a good car with him. What have we done in between that race to this race? Well, we scouted Bruno Senna. Awful, dreadful stats, didn't want to pick him up. Nah, there's nothing happening there. As for the parts, we've now developed another front wing and another rear wing for this particular race. It's going to come in handy. It is not necessarily crucial for this race. The front wing is, but not the rear wing. But it is going to pay some dividends, and we have a gearbox in the working as well. So that's pretty much the background of what's happened. I just wanted to get straight into this race, as I just had the last race, and I'm pumped up to get underway. What are we going to do for strategy, though? Let's have a quick peek. We have no rain whatsoever, so this is going to be a straight out race, a race. The thing is, Alexander Rossi's car is actually very good in terms of its reliability. I've been able to get a lot of the components above 70%, so we might not have to pit for a park condition fix, touch wood. And what are we looking at? We are looking at 4th position on the grid. Grosjean, Wehrlein, Kvyat is in front of us. What do we want to pick up, though? We want to look at the different tyre sets that we can run. We can run, I believe, look at that. The difference between estimated tyres, Super Softs, 9 to 11 laps versus 13 to 15. But we get a bonus for using the Super Softs at 10%. So definitely going to be using the Super Softs to roll out on. As for our stop strategy, 9 laps exactly would be fantastic. Same with this gentleman. Because there's a big enough gap between the two drivers, we could go to those tyres, that particular fuel load, and not double stack at all. We are going to get underway here at Beijing. Please, if you're liking the series, give it a thumbs up. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. We're going to have some success. I actually like Grosjean on pole again. Wehrlein 2nd, Kvyat 3rd, Alexander Rossi 4th is our boy, 5th Gutierrez, Lance Stroll 6th. And again, because it's only race 2, I think we're going to have a little bit of a war of attrition, but let's get Rossi's tyres up to speed straight from the get-go. Same with Guang. It does take a little bit of time to get them up. Rossi, yeah, there was a bit of a glitch there. He went back into 19th prematurely, but he's down into 5th position. He's on the outside. He's actually gone late under the brakes. Let's just get our position in the where we're all sitting, and then kind of sit there and let the race kind of phase itself out. So it's a Manor / Haas 1 to 4. All those guys are fighting between it. Guang is in a battle pack by himself there. By himself, I mean, in regards to relation to his teammates. In fact, he has a lot of people around him. But Guang's up to 10th. That is huge. We're not even going to be focusing on him because his park condition is going to be dreadful. Comparison to Rossi, look at that. Everything is up except for brakes, 60%. Rossi's up into 4th position. He's made a great pass on Gutierrez in order to do that. Gutierrez looks to have been struggling so much that Stroll is now up against him. But he's going to be our main pilot. We are watching Rossi. The front runner on the soft compound is Ocon, so he'll possibly try to overcut everyone. But if we get out fast enough, he won't be able to overcut Rossi at all. So, bit of a light gamble. Guang's now up into 10th position. Not doing a bad job, to be honest. But now that they're in the optimum range, let's just go to push mode, and we will go back into neutral mode any second now. It's about trying to get as much life out of these tyres as we possibly can. So, just crossing the line for 4th lap, almost halfway around for that lap. And the gap between everyone, Wehrlein is back to Grosjean, 1 second to Kvyat, 2 seconds back to us, another second and a little bit back to Gutierrez. Gutierrez has been able to get back in 5th position. I thought that might have happened. I thought it might have happened a little bit earlier than that, but he's now gaining on us. So we might just go to high mode with the engine. We do have a bit of excess fuel. Our tyres are at 50% almost. Once they get to 25, that's when they really start to ripple. So it's really in our favour if we're able to pull a bit of a gap with Gutierrez and not be defending. The longer we defend, the more we're going to get pushed back. And the other thing to take into note is our engine and gearbox is at 73% and 75% respectively. So if we have to push the car in order to hold that gap, I'm happy to do it. Meanwhile, the gap between everyone at the front is relatively unchanged. There's not a lot happening. This might be another war of attrition where we get to the end of the race and all of a sudden everyone's pitting for their life. Here we go. We're actually all over the back of Kvyat now. That's a bit of a surprise. Kvyat failing to... no, actually, he came 5th last race. He had a bit of an issue where he had to pit a couple of times, but it ended up working out for him. Tyres are now starting to peel a little bit. Let's go back into high mode. Have a look how Guang's going as well. He can go into high mode as well for those stops. How's everyone else going? Everyone else's strategy is about the same. Kvyat's tyres are being used up a little bit more. Grosjean is actually going to be the first car to pit at 26% tyre tread, so he's used up a little bit more rubber than us. That's great news for us. We're actually on the attack. We go past Kvyat. While Kvyat was trying to attack Grosjean, we were able to open up and made him vulnerable, and we've squeezed down. And after Grosjean pits, we're actually going to be coming... We're actually going to be coming second. How's Wehrlein? Is he going to pit? No, not anytime soon. The gap to Wehrlein has increased, but that's worked out in our favour. And you know what? As soon as he pits, we're going to go into super overtake mode because we are going to pit the next lap ourselves. Our tyres are starting to look a little bit trampled on, so it's really important that we get the most out of these tyres as we possibly can. Go into attack mode, push the fuel out. We will pit this lap. Given how it's gone, everyone else is actually starting to pit now. That's a little bit of a surprise. Guang is still in 7th position. Had he been able to overcut, I would have held him up with the other guys around him, but that's not going to be the case, unfortunately. Rossi's pace is 0.5 seconds slower. We're still ahead of Kvyat. We're ahead of Kvyat convincingly. The gap to Wehrlein has opened up 6 seconds. Even though it looks like it's not that big, he's actually quite a little bit further down the road. So what we want to do is we want to go to the softer compounds. Surprisingly, all the cars at the bottom have gone to soft compounds themselves, because they last a couple of more laps. Even though we don't get the performance bonus, we will try to push 13 laps to get us to about lap 21, and then do 2 quick stints on the super softs. That should work for us. Fast pit stop. The idea here is to come out ahead of everyone. How many laps of fuel do we want though? Ooh, 12.6. Yeah, I think that's pretty safe. 12.6 laps of fuel. It's going to cost us some time. We might get shuffled back in the order, but that's part of it. That's part of going on a lower fuel to begin with, that we're able to stay within reach of all the higher tier teams. Guang to go back. There we go. Let's get Guang to pit as well. Get him to go on soft tyres. Park condition, nothing to really adjust there. Park condition, everything's fine. Fuel, same stop, same strategy. 12 laps. Yep, that's good. And off he goes. Rossi's refueling. No dramas. No, of course there's a mistake. There always seems to be a mistake. Hopefully it hasn't affected him that much, but we are going to be coming in fourth position. Grosjean's been able to just overtake us. Really unfortunate. Really unfortunate, actually. Really unfortunate. Suck to be that. It's a matter of inches, isn't it? So Grosjean's come out in 3rd position. Stroll and Wehrlein are able to do an additional lap. Really? Kvyat has come out on the super soft compound, so he'll be pushing to get the most out of those tyres. Everyone else has gone into conserve mode. Is it because their engine and gearbox is starting to wear down? That could be a potential red herring, maybe. But it's going to be an interesting stop here for Stroll if he is indeed going to come out ahead or behind us. Nope, I'm wrong. Stroll is going to do an additional lap. That is absolutely insane. Rossi is now starting to lose out. I'm going to go back into push mode. I can't risk Kvyat passing us. Let's just go into overtake mode for a little bit. I don't want to fight him. I do not want to fight him. I want to get out ahead, hold that lead, and he's gassed up around the outside. Push away, go onto high mode, get that gap out, and then we'll start to pull the car back a little bit. We can probably start to push with Guang's car. Tyre temps are down. Track temperature is only 15 degrees despite the sun being out. Guang already back into 15th. I'm surprised he dropped that many spots. I guess that would have been a really bad pit stop for him. Possibly there was a mistake. We're not really watching his race. It was just a shame he didn't come out ahead of everyone when he undercut. But we'll see how we roll with this. Let's go back to medium mode. Wehrlein, it says he just took the lead from Grosjean, who dropped in the 2nd, but there was too big of a gap. I think there's a little bit of a glitch at the start line here where it flicks you back for like a microsecond. But we're now into 3rd position. We're in a good spot. Kvyat on the softer compounds, he should be faster than us. He is definitely faster than us. Whether he can get by us is a completely another question. Currently just having a bit of a check-up at lap number 14 now, almost getting to that halfway mark. Wehrlein actually decided to come out on softer compounds. His gap back to me is only 10 seconds, because it's 7 seconds back to Grosjean, and further from that it's about 2.5. So 10 seconds in total, which means he'll have to pit earlier. So it'll be interesting to see how much of an advantage that has been for him. His lap times are mirroring mine. And I am pushing on and off, depending upon where Kvyat is in relation to us, because I don't want Kvyat to get by us. I'd rather overtake and make sure that we're always ahead. I'm not worried about the reliability of the car, because I think our engine will be fine for the rest of the race. The main thing is that we keep getting pop-ups say he's defending. Kvyat will have a huge dive if we're not careful, just like that, but if we put it back into overdrive mode every time he does that, it's going to keep him behind us. The other thing that we have to note is, look at his tyres, 33% on the super softs. So the moment he pits, he's going to be in a really weird position because we're all going to be ahead of him. His strategy to undercut the super soft tyres has not worked out for him. I just have to keep monitoring where he is in relation to us and keep pushing the engine every time he gets close. It sucks. I mean, it's making us go faster in order to keep in relation to everyone else, and I'd rather not be doing that, but we have the excess fuel. The tyres are actually starting to be a little bit more chewed up faster than I thought. They're at 50%. Well, we have about 5.6 laps of fuel left, and I think Kvyat's going to have to pit. Not this lap, but maybe the next one. He's not going to have a chance to dive at us now, so I'm going to go back into medium mode for the engine mode. That was correct, it was medium mode, and hopefully that back marker holds up. Yeah, he goes around the outside. Kvyat's been held up, so that's worked out in our favor really well. Just by shutting the door on that last exit of the corner has been able to open the gap, and we are almost at the halfway mark, about a lap to go. Kvyat is now going into the pits, so we no longer have to keep racing with him just to keep ahead. I just didn't want him to get ahead of us and then hold us up and be a bit of a safety car, keeping the pace up around us. But we can go into high mode because look at that, 42% tire tread left. Fuel is at 4.4. In fact, we can go into overtake mode. I just want to keep making sure that these tires are going to last. Look at that, they're not in the optimum range right now. They're starting to drop off just a little bit. Park condition 54 for engine, 60% for gearbox, which is fine. We'll just have to stop for less fuel next time, I think, because it's a little bit out of calibration by the amount of fuel laps versus the tyres. The tyres seem to be wearing a little bit faster than we thought, even though we're not really pushing them as much. Second place is now 8 seconds ahead of us, which is Grosjean. Wehrlein is now 8 seconds ahead of him. Sorry, Grosjean's 5 seconds ahead of us. In front of him, Wehrlein at 8 seconds. So 13 seconds all up. Wehrlein now has to pit. His tyres are completely scrubbed, as is ours. They're at 32%. Grosjean should be in the same boat. Yes, he is. So we're going to take the lead. Maybe, depending upon where Wehrlein comes out. We may prematurely take the lead. And because the tyres are being eaten up from our car, they're also being eaten up from every other car. The thing I want to do is I want to keep out as long as we possibly can before our tyres really start to get eaten up. Let's have a bit of a look. If we pitted for soft tyres, 9 laps. So if we go around one more time, we can do 2 stops, like 1 stop in the next lap, and then another stop for softer tyres, and we won't have to stop again. These guys might have to pit thus again, depending upon what the strategy is. Guang has said he's got some sort of a mechanical issue. If we pit him now, he might be blocking up Rossi. What is his park condition? It is a gearbox. That's going to take 16 seconds. So I'm not going to pit him just yet. I'm going to get him to go back into medium mode. I'm going to get Rossi to keep pushing into complete overtake mode, because we don't need that fuel. I am weary about the engine reliability and the gearbox. I'm just going to go with less fuel in the next stint. That's pretty much it. It will be lap 20, so 14 laps to go. We will be able to push those super soft tyres. Wehrlein is behind us. We've officially taken over the lead, so that's good stuff for us. Let's come in the pits. This stop coming up. Super soft tyres, we've got 2 sets. We've pretty much nailed that perfectly. I don't want to fix anything just yet. Let's do a balanced stop. I don't care about being fast. Actually, you know what? Let's do a fast stop. Because we're only doing fuel and also tyres, it shouldn't be that bad. We're only going to put 7 laps of fuel in. And that's going to put us to 8 laps, because those tyres will only go to 9 laps before they get to 25%. So we've pit him. That's fine. That's good for us. In he comes. And let's now pit Guang. If I pitted Guang now and fixed his gearbox, it would have taken, you know, the 16 seconds it usually takes. It'd be absolutely screwed. We can even fix other things while we're in there. We won't, but we'll do a fast stop. And then we'll go from there. Fuel load. Tyre choice. Softs. We might have to pit him again at the end of the race just to fix everything. But we'll just let him go around at that bit of a pace at the moment. Rossi, it's a good stop both for fuel and for tyres. It's a quick, tidy stop, more importantly. Where's he going to come out of? He's going to come out... Ooh! Ooh! Push, overtake. Look at that! He's come out in second position. He came out in third. He held up Grosjean. Stroll seems to be overlapping everyone and not pitting just yet, even though he's got bad tyres. I'm going to push. I'm going to push a little bit to get away from Grosjean. He's on the softer compounds, and if he gets in front of us, it's going to be not great for us. We can push because we have excess tyres at the moment, because they last 9 laps, and we've got 14 to go, so we'll pit once, and then we can pit again for a super soft. Main thing is we keep ahead of Grosjean. That was perfect. That was almost poetic. So, Grosjean came out. No, Rossi came out, Grosjean went behind him. Meanwhile, Stroll was in second position, and we locked up under brakes. We didn't lock up, we went deep under brakes. We were able to hold him in that position and make it work. So that's worked heaps in our favour. Where is Wehrlein in relation to us? He's only 7 seconds up the road, so we're definitely catching him as well. Tyres just got chewed up massively. Let's now go back in a bit of a conservative mode, get around that back marker, no dramas there. I'd hate to have a collision with them. Grosjean now is going to struggle. So is Stroll. Stroll, the fact that he had to pit, he might get pushed out of the top 6 because of that. Nope, he's just going to sit in the top 6 right there. Park condition, everything is great. So I'm closely going to monitor Grosjean's car and what he's doing. That is what we're focusing on right now. If he gets close, push again until that gap gets big enough. And then, once the gap pushes out, relax a little bit, relax, and then do what we have to do. So this strategy is all about keeping ahead of Grosjean. He's on the other softer compound, means he'll be a little bit slower. He will hold us up. We're not out of contention for winning this race just yet. It is a huge possibility. Now remember, Grosjean's great on the brakes, so we want to make sure we've got a big enough gap that he can't just dive bomb us from absolutely nowhere and shade us off. At the same time, let's get a loud teammate through for Guang. He's going to get a blue flag, but we're also going to give him team orders to allow us to go through without any dramas. Grosjean is also pushing. That's not good. We'd rather not be pushing. We'd rather just be consistent and not using up the tyres much. We've got a little bit of a gap. Just monitoring that gap as much as we possibly can. Guang, Rossi's going to lap Guang. And next race, we should have a new second or main driver. So that's another thing to keep under your little hats. But we're doing a great job. Rossi just sets his fastest lap at 1:38. We are 2 seconds ahead of Wehrlein. 2 seconds ahead of the guy behind us. That's huge. Let's just pan this out and see where we end up in relation to everything. We might just start to push a little bit more. We don't have to. I think the car's fine to sit where it is. Let's just make sure we get to the end. We are catching Wehrlein still, by the looks of it. It's down to 7 seconds at the moment. This is nail-biting stuff. What's his lap going to be? He does another 140. Our lap time is going to be another 140.3. So we're 0.6 faster. Grosjean is also a bit slow. He did a 142. So we're the fastest car out there along with Wehrlein. What I want to see is who's set the fastest lap of the race thus far. Wow, it was Wehrlein when he did a 136.6. In fact, 2 seconds faster than us. Jesus. That is really fast. We might have a stab at that at the end of the race, providing what's happening around us. But we are keeping that 7-second gap distance. Great news. And we might get Guang to pit very shortly, so we're not going to hold up Rossi. Third position also has a mechanical issue, which is Grosjean. Kvyat now has to pit for tyres. He had to anyway. He might have fixed another component, but I'm not sure. And the main thing is, we are now in the window for us to do one more stop without any issues. We've got 2 laps of fuel on board. We can actually start to attack on these tyres. Let's just see how these tyres start to roll. And push that gap out from Grosjean as much as we possibly can. So if we have to fix any of the components, we will. Guang has now got some sort of a huge issue. Let's get him to pit. Park condition, bang, bang, bang. And we'll just do that for now. Fast stop. Fuel. We'll get it up to about, I don't know, that many laps so he doesn't have to pit again for fuel. Tyre choice, softs. There we go. We'll get him in. Markov is retired. That's not going to affect us. That's 13th. The biggest surprise is that no one's crashed yet in either race. That's actually pretty surprising to some degree. Now, Rossi's tyres are going to be eaten up a little bit. He can do one more lap. Let him do his one more lap. Let's go back into conserve mode for the engine. Make sure he gets around. And we also got to watch Guang's pit stop. Surely he'll be able to... Yeah, his car will be fixed by the time we come around. We're not going to double stack. That's not going to be a problem at all. Kvyat is 39 seconds behind us. That worked out really well. So we can pit with no dramas coming out ahead of him. The car's now been unlapped. We're going to pit now. What are we going to do? We're going to go to the super soft compounds. We have excess for that. 7 laps remaining, so we're going to go to exactly 7 laps. Park condition. Yeah, nah, let's not fix anything. We don't have to fix anything. We're just going to drive the car smoothly anyway. We're not going to have to push. We might push at the last lap just to see if we can get a lap record. 2 extra points. So this is what it's all about, guys. It's about playing it cool, playing it smooth. Rossi, second position. He's coming out of the pits. He's 13 seconds ahead of Grosjean because they've had mechanical issues. The more you push your car at the start of the race, the more likely you're going to have dramas. Wehrlein, we might be able to tackle him for his lead. He has a mechanical issue that's popped up. I'm just going to play it safe for now, and if we have to push, we will. The gap is 10 seconds, so if he pits, we will jump him. And that's what we want to do. If we push the car now, there's a likelihood that we're going to have to pit ourselves, and therefore not finish where we want to be. So at the moment, we've got a good gap over Grosjean. We just want to keep it safe. We have excess fuel, no need to push. Let's just keep within that window and monitor Grosjean as he goes around. Sorry, Wehrlein as he goes around. Guang is completely out of this race. We will get him to pit for all of these fixings very shortly to make sure he's good to go. Marcelo has retired. He retired ages ago, but he's still going around the track and holding me up. Don't hold me up for long, please. There's a little bit of a hold up there. That's alright. What is the lap times? What are the 2 lap times? We're doing 143s, while Wehrlein did a 136. That was dramatically fast. We did a 140, as did the rest of the field. We're not going to be able to tackle Wehrlein's 136. There's just no way. It's just way too fast for us. So let's just play it safe, get around in time. Park conditions fine. A second position, so 2 second positions. Unfortunately, Wehrlein's going to take the win again. That would be pretty big for him to have back-to-back wins for his team. Grosjean's going to finish 3rd, provided nothing changes. Kvyat might finish in the podium there as well. Quite a few things to consider. Laps still have to play out. He's going to have that mechanical issue for ages, isn't he? Nothing's going to grind him down. That's a bit of a shame. We've still got 3 laps to go once he crosses the line. Now, tyre temps are a little bit low. I could really start to push, but the reality is, if I start to push, the park condition is going to be wearing down a lot faster, and we can't afford that right now. The main thing is sitting where we are, doing a good job, keeping it where it needs to be, keep the car straight, keep the car steady, finishing the race on a high. We might just pick Guang, park condition, get everything fixed. I'm getting invites to play Counter-Strike. Can't do it right now, champ. Maybe next year. It's fine. Not change the tyres. We don't need to change the tyres, or do we? Yeah, why not? Rossi is now a little bit under threat from Gutierrez, who's trying to unlap himself. He should be able to pass us. Shouldn't be that much of an issue. Wait a minute. There is a change for the lead. Where is Wehrlein? Wehrlein is 5 seconds behind us. So he has had to pit for that mechanical issue. As you can see, he no longer has the flashing light. So the main thing is now, we want to keep that healthy gap. We want to start to push these tyres, go into attack mode, go into high mode. We have excess fuel. We have the park condition in order to keep pushing. The main thing is keeping that gap. This might be a first time win for Alexander Rossi in GP2. That would be absolutely huge. Guang now pitting for his stop. That's complete filler. We don't need to know about anything like that. Let's just push his car as well. Wehrlein is catching us at the moment. So we're going to go into complete overtake mode. Last lap of the race, we are coming first from a chasing Wehrlein, who's 2 seconds behind us. He's into overtake mode. He's into attack mode. So are we. Our park condition. very low at the moment. Can we hold out this position and take our first win in GP2? That would be huge. Our manager would be absolutely stoked that we'd be able to take out that spot. It's going to be a race to the finish line. We have the tire tread, we have the fuel to do it. He is catching us though. It's down to 1.5 seconds. He's gained on us by 0.5 a second in the first quarter of the track. He's now within view. He can actually smell the victory. Wehrlein trying to prove a point here. Recently got signed up to Manor in real life, not in the game, but in real life, and he's a pretty great driver, so he's no slouch. He's the much better driver out of the two guys. He's got the better car. Wehrlein just settled the fastest second sector of the race, but it's not going to be enough. We should be able to take our first win. Are we going to cross the line? Hopefully there's no glitches, there's no issues. First place will be ours. Oh my god! Did you see that? Oh my, wow. Okay. We literally ran out of fuel with that much space to go. We still did our fastest lap of the race while we ran out of fuel at the end. I should have probably monitored that a little bit better. But remember that time, like 2-3 seasons ago in the old championship where we had enough fuel to go over the line but the car just stopped? Just before the line and we got overtaken for our first win ever? Do you remember that? Yeah, that was payback. So the game has finally awarded me first position for doing that. I was losing a bit of control. I was focusing on the race too much, focusing on the commentating. I almost lost the race because of that. But guess what? It's our first win. That's really big for us. Racing Engineering, back on the board. We haven't done that at all in the F1 Mod Challenge. Our best position has been third in the last season, second in the last race, first in this race. We got a little bit lucky there with the mechanical issues that the other teams were facing. Live timings are going to tell us we were much slower than the cars around us. Wehrlein, Haas, dramatically faster. In fact, I think it would have been the fastest lap of the race if Wehrlein had been able to complete that. It actually was. Wehrlein did the fastest lap of the race in the last lap of the race. Wow, that is big for us. That is huge. Checking cars, we don't have any legal components. Maybe someone else might. Scrutineering is complete. Nope. So, what does that mean for us? First place, we're a happy chappy. We're only 4 points behind now in the Drivers' Championship with Rossi. Racing Engineering is now coming second. I think we were second the whole time. That's a great result from us. The chairman should be happy. It'll be interesting to see if he gets a bit of a rise out of this, or is it going to be a bit like a Niki Lauda where it's like, I don't know what you're talking about. But, so overall we came second. So, the chairman's happiness goes down by 6%. Now, we are going to sign up a new driver for the next race. Let me know who you think it should be. Is it going to be Lucas Di Grassi, Kobayashi, Alan Prost's son, Nicholas Prost, or Aurelian Prost, his second son? Who do you guys think? Rossi's done a great job for us, but we need a main driver. We need someone who's going to rip into there, that's going to do the work. Thanks for tuning in. It's been Spot the Aussie. Give this video a thumbs up. Give this series a thumbs up. Subscribe for more, and I'll check you guys out shortly.